Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you. And let me, if I might, begin with you, Mr. Comey. After the election, as you know, the Russian foreign minister, was quoted in various news reports saying that the Russians had had contacts with people associated with the Trump campaign. Now, that may or may not be true. There is, however, extensive press reporting on the relationships between the Russians and the individuals associated with both the Trump campaign and the incoming administration. My question for you, Director Comey, is, has the FBI investigated these reported relationships? And if so, what are the agency's findings?
Thank you, Senator. I would never comment on investigations, whether we have one or not, in an open forum like this. So I really can't answer it one way or another.
Will you provide an unclassified response to these questions and release it to the American people prior to January 20th?
I'm sorry, you said, will I?
Yes. Will you provide an unclassified response to the question I've asked? And as I've said, it's been reported widely. It's on the Reuters news service, widely reported. Will you provide an unclassified response to the question I asked and release it to the American people prior to January 20?
Sir, I'll answer any question you ask, but the answer will likely be the same as I just gave you. I can't talk about it.
Well, I will tell you, I think the American people have a right to know this. And if there is delay in declassifying this information and relating it to the American people, releasing it to the American people, and it doesn't happen before January 20th, I'm not sure it's going to happen. And that's why I'm troubled, and I hope that you will make a declassified statement with respect to the questions I've asked public. Now, let me ask one other question, if I might. The report has a brief description of Russian cyber intrusions into state and local electoral boards. It reads, and I quote, DHS assesses that the types of systems we observed Russian actors targeting or compromising are not involved in vote tallying. My question to you, and I think I'd like to have you involved in this too, Director Clapper. Director Comey, Director Clapper, what systems, in your view, were compromised by the Russians, and what was the nature and extent of those compromises?
Yeah. There were intrusions and attempted intrusions at state-level voter registration databases. That is, not containing the voting mechanism, but who's registered to vote and the address and the particulars of that sort. What the purpose was of those intrusions is not clear to us at this point, and we saw no activity on Election Day that reflected that anyone had messed with those voter registration databases. But there's no doubt that the Russians attacked, intruded, and took data from some of those systems.
Director Clapper?
I think that's the response. I don't have anything to add to that.
And I hope you will also tell us in the days ahead, Director Comey, more about the nature of those systems, because it is very clear, given what you found and reported in the declassified version, that we're going to be dealing with these issues coming up. And I think we need to know more specifics. We can do it in a classified session about the nature of those systems. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.